What if beauty isn't something we construct? Again, there's this outside image, there's this woman that's beautiful, I'm going to construct that somehow on me from the outside. It's not something that we construct, but what remains when there's nothing left. Beautiful is our essence. Hello again there, Heartmind with Holli fans and friends. I'm so happy to be back every time to discuss this with you. This is my jam. This is what I love to do, is discuss yoga, discuss our humanity, and through the lens of yoga, breathwork, healing, creative energy. So we are in the theme of beauty still. I had just dropped the interview with Doris Pessy, who is in Hobart, and that was an amazing conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't, please go back and listen to it, as it was a very amazing conversation around beauty standards, what drives us to find ourselves through hair, but in beauty in general. And I'm going to continue that conversation today with transforming through beauty. And I'm really excited to talk about how we have to go into the ugliness in order to discover the beauty. And that's where true beauty begins. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more as we go. But grab your cuppa, or have a nice listen as you ride. Let's all take a deep breath if you can, even if you're in the car or making dinner or whatever it is that you're doing while you listen to the podcast. Let's take a deep breath. Good, thank you. All right, transforming through beauty, transforming with beauty. The first episode, I talked about how water it connects to healing, and healing through reflecting the inside of ourselves outward, and how we take that into action through the fire of creation and action, and taking action on our own appearance. And I want to talk about how we start to transform. Transform requires us to maybe unbeautify and go into those darker spaces that don't feel so beautiful or don't feel so pretty. Grief, pain, anger, and oftentimes when I would go into my big trauma work with breath work and yoga, I would try to shun myself. I ended up, shame is a big one, right? Shame and not wanting to be seen, or not wanting to, feeling really yucky and ugly inside. And it required me to go into those feelings in order to start to ask about my deeper truth, to unravel my deeper truth. And within that truth, again, we start to discover what beauty is uniquely, authentically for us. So it really is this organic process of stepping away from outside standards of beauty, which often, again, generate that burning competition, perfectionism, and it's an outer goal outside of yourself, and starting to turn inward and allow ourselves space and time to maybe not be so beautiful in order to evolve and understand what does it mean to us, and how does it look for us uniquely in this body with the process that we're going through in the current time, which was different for me at 27 than it is at 37 than it is at 40. So that's a little bit what Doris was talking about, that evolution over time with age as well. with our hair, giving ourselves the space, giving ourselves the grace to feel that evolution and discover each year, each decade, another side of beauty that maybe surprises us or um, is not exactly what we envisioned long ago. In yoga, we have, and I believe I mentioned it, but if I haven't, we have this word Maya, 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 and it's the veils that cover us. And one of the processes with yoga is starting to um, understand that we ultimately, our energy is much bigger, much um, more than this form that we're in, and that these are veils or coverings, sheaths that are um, allowing us to manifest and present in the world. But as we uncover that I'm not this particular body, this particular hair, this particular face, who am I then? If I'm not just my, blood, sweat, and tears, the physiological body, then who am I then? If I'm not just my personality and what drives me to work and serve in the world, then who am I then? And if I'm not even just pure emotion, bliss, and peace, if that's not what I am, then what am I then? And these are the questions that yoga starts to ask. And those are the different types of sheaths that we start to unveil. And it does require us to do that deep dive that all the ancient mythology stories talk to us about in various ways of looking at ourselves, of going to the underworld, of asking God, Spirit, whatever those entities are in different iterations throughout human history, asking these really deep, big questions and going on a journey with it. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about transforming through beauty, is going down deep within ourselves to seek it and having a journey with it rather than seeing the end point. I want to look like her, or I want to look like this because then I will be accepted in the tribe. And then manufacturing a journey that leads you to that destination. That's what we're trying to kind of break down a little bit, and then allow beauty to be a destination that's somewhat unknown. And that creates real transformation because every moment you're stepping into that question, that dialogue, and you're starting to discover it over time. So Doris talked about this year-ish, 6 months or so. My hair is looking like this, but at some point, it may evolve where I want to go asymmetrical, or it may evolve where I want to have color, and I've done that a little bit. And maybe it's a whole different color than I've tried, and then that color really does speak to me, and I go bigger with it. And then when I go too big, I don't like it, and I feel maybe a little less beautiful or like myself. And that's part of making mistakes and going on that journey of seeking it. And whether it's your hair or your makeup, or whether it's your clothing, or whether it's how you express your articulation and beauty of language, whatever the medium is, it's more about this journey of seeking authentic truth, which in its essence, my opinion, is beautiful. So I guess my question when we're thinking about the Maya, okay, the Maya's the coverings. There's your physical body, there's your energy body, that's physiology, but that's also the breath. There's your mental body, there's your wisdom, body, which I put with personality. And then there's the bliss body, which is all emotions, in my opinion. And that emotional movement and ultimate, the baseline of that is bliss. That's why it's called the bliss sheath. And so, the question is, what if beauty isn't something we construct? Again, there's this outside image, there's this woman that's beautiful, I'm going to construct that somehow on me from the outside. It's not something that we construct, but what remains when there's nothing left. Beautiful is our essence. Let's take a breath for that. And breath work is a huge part of this creating space for the, in quotes, ugly. That's why I shared what happens for me when I used to. I haven't felt that in a little while, but when I would go into deep breath work, I would meet the shame and want to hide my face. And it's through that conscious breath work and starting to radically accept ourselves and even the ugly parts of ourselves, and I keep putting ugly in quotes because I think it's been constructed in our society to be ugly, but it's actually not, but it makes us feel ugly maybe because we're still in those confines of society. And we create enough compassion with our breath work, we start to understand safety, even though it doesn't feel necessarily safe or comfortable. We are able to create capacity to feel those ugly and unsafe and unsafe feelings and witness them without turning away. And it's within that we start to transform and feel or sense our true selves. This takes great discipline, courage to meet the ugly. It takes great discipline to do it again and again, and that willingness to stay present amidst the discomfort, amidst the, again, the things that we've been told or taught not to look at. But there's this beautiful word that I often talk about with clients, especially lately I have been, because everybody comes and they're like, I need more discipline. There's this beautiful word in yoga called tapas, T-A-P-A-S, tapas. And it's a niyama, it's a way to self-care for yourself. And it's a fiery way. It's discipline, basically, austerity, but it's that sense of taking care of yourself through discipline, through this process of being able to withstand discomfort. One of the definitions or translations I've heard is enduring pain, enduring discomfort. And in that, like a fire, you start to see the distortions of shame or the distortions of pain. There becomes a light, a radiance starts to emerge, and a beauty, a spark and beauty within the eyes starts to emerge as we start to burn off these, these distortions and the in quotes, ugliness, and see the truth and see ourselves in the truth of beauty. So it's kind of an amazing, amazing process and a beautiful term that I often come to. That's what we're after with our tapas of doing a practice every day, is starting to alchemize into our true, beautiful selves. So I'm going to invite you to think about this and to have a little reflection. What pain or shame or self-story have you been maybe resisting because you're afraid of it, it's too ugly, it's unsafe, but it actually might be that gateway to understanding and knowing your beautiful self, really a gateway to your own illumination and radiance, your own beauty. What might it be? And for me, with this work, I want to emphasize that the breath for me has always been the bridge. And when we breathe through that, we start to transmute it. And when we're not willing to go into those stories, they're actually, I'll put it in yoga terms and then I'll put it in more Western psychology terms. It's starting to take up more of our prana. And so we're holding or carrying this thing that's taking our prana, and we're not able to actually be present because our mind is holding this other, or being drawn and drained to this other aspect of trying to maintain or reach or attain that perfect beautiful self that's outside of us. And it's driven by this fear or this story. In Western terms, the subconscious is kind of holding that, and it's driving us, right? And it's draining us rather than being just really present with who we are and in the moment. And therefore it's stealing. We talk about this a lot in yoga, how prana can be stolen, and it's stealing. It's asteya is another yogic term. It's stealing our prana. And then the amount of beautiful moments in the present that we're able to actually receive is less. So I want to maybe even go one step further as we start to transform and radiate our beautiful selves. We are able, that beauty is being reflected by our ability to and capacity to receive beautiful moments in connection with the world, whether that's other humans or our environment or nature. And that feeds us and starts to have a relationship with us. But if we are ashamed, if we are drained by some of these past stories or past seeking of perfection, comparison, then we're unable to really see and be present to any beauty in front of us, whether that's ourselves or even we're shut off and shut down from the beauty that's here, whether it's nature or in your home, sharing moments with your children, or shut off from that. So I just want to say there's like this connection. That's what yoga is, connection between what is happening in your world and your environment and how you feel about yourself. And there's this mutual relationship happening. Lakshmi is a lot about this, the energy of Lakshmi, which is a Hindu goddess, but really it's just a vibration of beauty that we can experience in this world, through ourselves, with ourselves, in relation to the world. And Lakshmi asks us to find that healing through beauty. It's a beautiful mantra that I would come to if you're seeking this type of relationship and beauty within yourself, to really bank in those beautiful moments of your life. Om Mahalakshmi Ye Shwaha. May it be so, Lakshmi, that beautiful aspect of the world, spirit world, may it be present here. All right, I'm going to recap. Beauty is a transformation, a diving into ourselves. We have to meet the ugly. We have to meet the discomfort. That takes great courage, takes great discipline to go in there and create space and capacity for the fullness of our being. And in that, as we start to transform through that discomfort, radiates a beautiful mirror of ourselves. As we do that, we start to interact and receive more beauty within our world. And we're able to reflect and receive that beauty, whether it's a moment with a tree, a moment with your child. You're able to really bank that prana and receive that prana. And that prana has a kind of vibration, a beauty of life. And really, isn't that what we're here for? Is to bank as many of those beautiful moments as we possibly can and receive that and carry that process onward to our children. I know that I'm not the only one, whether it's your child or a niece or nephew, if you don't have your own children, repeating, you are beautiful, you are beautiful, you're so beautiful. And we're asking them to find that within themselves, to have fun with it, and to maybe look to the outside, but also we're hoping that they bank in that essence of themselves and then be able to bank as many beautiful moments and connection moments as they can in their lives, so then they can support their children in doing the same. This is the path. This is the whole shebang. And so this journey in transforming into beauty versus, again, the fear of fitting in and or representing what society has said is beautiful is a huge thing. The other thing that I see that happens, sorry, I'm going into a tangent now, but it's so true that the rebellion of that can happen quite often, whereas I'm not going to care a lick about the way I look. It doesn't matter. I kind of got into that when I was pregnant, not out of like rebellion of society, but more out of rebellion of exhaustion. But we can get into that, like, I'm not going there because we've kind of given the power of beauty to mainstream society. And so there's a rebellion against it, which in its own form still kind of steals that prana from you. I hope this episode helps you start thinking about beauty in new ways. I hope that it supports you in your own journey, your yogic journey. And I'll have another episodes next week. Travel well, enjoy your prana, enjoy your life energy, and I'll see you next week.